It's 5 p.m. Good evening. Welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live from our news hub at Adesa Wekanda, also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're also on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. I am Alfred Okonse. This evening, we have details of the matters as unfolding. President Mahama's flood mitigation task force swings into action, pulling down structures on waterways 24 hours after finance minister's lamentations in his media budget review of the economy. This evening we ask, is it enough pulling down these unauthorized structures, or a lot more has to be done? Also, this evening we delve deeper into government's core of its economic performance in the first half of the year with one critical question: does this official review of the economy agree with the state of your pocket? In fact, there's some sectorial analysis that we will be getting into shortly. The Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, will be sharing their thoughts. Also with us, a finance expert will be joining us on matters regarding the projections for revenue for the next half of the year. Stay with us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Also, the new DVLA system has uncovered over 130 suspected cloned cars, according to the Chief Executive Officer of the Driver Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA. We'll get details of what Julius Nikwe Kote has been talking about. Stay with us. We have these and more in the next 1 hour here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Let's settle for a summary of the news now, and Noura Mohammed is here.
First in the news summaries, the Tema Regional Police Command has disclosed that its officers rejected an alleged 150,000 Ghana cedi bribe offered by a suspect who attempted to secure the release of a truck carrying 5,039 compressed parcels of suspected narcotic substances intercepted during an anti-drug operation at Afenya. The alleged bribery attempt was revealed on Thursday, July 23, 2026 by the Tema Regional Police Commander, DCOP Erica Samwai Siedu, during a press briefing on recent anti-crime operations in the region. Also in the summaries, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jino Pokuajiman, has said Ghana's 37 active sister city partnerships with communities across the United States are delivering tangible development benefits, demonstrating the growing impact of city diplomacy. She made the remarks at the 70th anniversary celebration of Sister Cities International in Washington, D.C., where she highlighted the role of local government partnerships in promoting sustainable development and strengthening international cooperation. Meanwhile, dozens of families in the Yendi municipality of the northern region are facing an uncertain future after a powerful rainstorm destroyed more than 40 homes, killing a 12-year-old girl, injuring several others, and leaving many residents without shelter. The overnight storm, which struck around 3 a.m. on Wednesday, July 22, swept through the communities of Maindogu and Kalbela with strong winds that ripped off roofs, collapsed buildings, and destroyed household belongings, food stocks, and farm produce. Also, the Ghana Institute of Foresters, GIF, has commended the government's decision to reverse the declassification of the Achimota Forest in the Greater Accra region. The erstwhile Akufo-Addo government on April 19, 2022, through an executive instrument EL 144, designated portions of the urban forest as no longer a forest reserve. Now, this was met with discontent from some environmentally conscious groups, including the foresters, as they bemoaned the repercussions of the decision on urban centers. And finally, in the summaries, the Upper West Regional Police Command has arrested a suspected motorbike theft syndicate and recovered 17 motorcycles believed to have been stolen from the Wa municipality and other parts of the region. The operation began after a complaint was lodged on July 11, 2026 by a woman whose black Luogia motorbike with registration number M221UW3512 was stolen from the premises of the Ghana National Fire Service in Chirapa. That's it for the summaries. Back to you, Alfred.
Thank you very much, Noura Mohammed. The summary of the news. You can find more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Hot Edition, live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and also on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. straight into matters regarding the mid-year budget review. But before we get into the issues regarding the sector-by-sector analysis and reactions to some of the information that the finance minister puts out in the mid-year budget review, although the Bernard Entribuesiako Chamawun to me matter is typically not a budget issue, it found its way onto the discussion of the post-mid-year budget review presentation on the floor of Parliament. And here's why. Alexander Afenyomakin, who is a minority leader, a full member of Parliament, during his statement after the finance minister presented the mid-year budget review, literally warned the minister in charge of Justice and Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana that they should release political prisoners. And what exactly does he mean by this? Take a listen.
Review is uninspiring. There is no inspiration. What we are experiencing in this country is persecution, persecution, persecution. For the first time, we are seeing political imprisonment. Who to me is a political prisoner. Mr. Speaker, Camila Al-Hassan, a young mother of 3, is also a political prisoner, telling you how intolerant you are, and you are here telling us you are running an economy. You want this to be a one-sided parliament. When people criticize you, you threaten them. A lot of my MPs here have been threatened. You are threatening members of parliament with prosecution. Let me serve a warning to the Attorney General that the ravening clouds shall no longer be victorious. They shall not long possess the sky. Be careful. 2028, you'll be in opposition. 2028. If you are not careful, Mr. Speaker, if you don't stop now, you will go and meet one to me there, and one to me will be out, and you will go in. So I'm advising you, let us all be measured. We welcome the reforms by the finance minister, and for the first time, he did something patriotic by acknowledging the digitalization reforms we introduced in government payments. Today he has acknowledged it. Mr. Speaker, we commend you for acknowledging MPP.
Well, so that's the minority leader, Alexander Afenyomakin there, talking about political prisoners after the post-media budget review conversation. And a direct warning, if you just did listen to a direct warning to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayene, that 2028, there's going to be a change in government, and some of them will be in so on. But really, is it a matter of political persecution or political prisoners, as Alexander Afenyomakin is saying, and referencing that some minority MPs are being threatened with prosecution whenever they criticize this administration? Adam Senano is co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption. Also, Dr. Palgrave Boache Dankwa is a spokesperson of the Bernard Entribuesiako campaign team, and a very close aide to Bernard Entribuesiako. I'm talking about Chamawun to me, who is in the Swam medium prison as we speak, serving his 20-year jail term. The MPP has indicated they're going to appeal this particular ruling. But let's get the latest on Chamawun to me. And Dr. Palgrave Boache Dankwa, aide to Chamawun to me, is joining us on the telephone. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Alfred, and thank you for the opportunity.
First off, how is Chamawun to me doing?
He's very well. He's doing very well. I first want to send our biggest appreciation and gratitude to the leader of the party and the flag bearer, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, for his consistent support to Chairman Wontumi, who is also a member of the party. And let me also send our deepest gratitude to the Ghana Prison Service. They have been extremely magnanimous with the visitation of friends and family and party sympathizers to Chairman Wontumi as in Sawum. You must remember that when you look at the regulations that are in place, based on the sentencing that was given to Chairman Wontumi, he's allowed visits once every 2 weeks. And so I need to send our deepest gratitude to the Ghana Prison Service for their magnanimity and their generosity in allowing party people, in allowing the leader of the party, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to visit him throughout this week. And also this morning, I have indications that the chairman, all the 47 constituency chairmen from Ashanti region, together with the regional executives, paid visits to Chairman Wontumi at Nsawam prison.
We understand that
he's doing very well.
Right. We understand the Ashanti Regional MPP is mobilizing supporters to go and visit him. For what exactly?
So what I'm saying is that yesterday, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was in Ashanti region. I was part of the entourage that went there. We went to the region to encourage the constituency executives and the constituency secretaries and the regional executives to stand in solidarity with Chairman Wontumi. And Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia significantly stated is that whatever he can do within the law to ensure that the appeal goes through for Chairman to have his freedom, he will do that. And of course, I mean, definitely, Chairman is a very strong pillar of the political party. He is a lover of grassroots, and the grassroots love him. And so when they gather people from Ashanti region to visit, I mean, it's not all of them that would be able to enter into prison to visit, but at least it sends some support. And when you are in prison, one of the things that you need is an encouragement so that you can go through the process. And I think that this is what, as a political party, we will do, and even do more for Chairman Wontumi. And I'm sure that the media will not want to discount that Ashanti region is mobilizing support to come to Nsawam prison. Everybody needs love, and I think that this is the time that the party is showing continuous love to Chairman Wontumi.
I see. Today is day 4, right? Day 4 of him being in Nsawam prison, correct?
No, today he went in on Monday, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay,
Friday.
So today will be day 5.
Yes, today is day 5.
And he's well. He's okay.
He's doing well. He's okay, which is why I'm saying thank you to the Ghana Prison Service, that they have been extremely generous and magnanimous in allowing visits all throughout. And so we are very, very grateful as a political party. Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is extremely grateful to the Ghana Prison Service, and he's doing very well.
I see. Now, hold on a bit for me. Edemson, I know, is a co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, also the AU chair on the advisory board on anti-corruption. Messiano, this narrative of political prisoners, and this narrative surfaced after Chairman Wontumi was in prison. Today is day 5 of him being in small medium prison. Is there any real basis for this narrative that indeed the minority did not mince words yesterday after the budget was read, as I just played Afenyo Makin's voice?
I really don't know where this is coming from. In my mind, there's either evidence or there's no evidence. And if there's evidence, there are questions to be answered. And if the legal processes have identified that you have a case to answer before the courts, you go before the courts and you answer them. I think this is just partisan politics, and they're not throwing any dust in our eyes. Any citizen who is following the facts knows that there's a case to be answered. So let him answer the case. I think that we should stop this kind of thing. It does not serve the best interest of this country. And I think that politicians at the highest level should be able to understand what is in the best interest of our nation. There are some things, if you associate yourself with, it's okay. But when there are facts and you don't have counterfacts, you see, what I would be interested in is what has been already put out in the public space. Are they disputing it? The sums of money that they are saying was illegally, whatever. Are they disputing it? Have they put out any contrary facts? That's much more substantive. But just to take the position that is witch hunting, what's the witch hunting about? Give us some facts. You know, they should be cautious because the credibility of the political class is at stake. Even the whole issue of our democracy and whether we are getting dividends from this kind of political thing where we have a two party or not. The jury is out there. Are we really benefiting? And if they don't work harder to ensure that we see the development and meet the aspirations of the younger people, they are just creating, trouble for everybody. So I don't think this is the trajectory to be taken at all.
And in fact, you're listening to Avenyomakin. He says that some minority MPs are being threatened with prosecution when they criticize this administration. And the question that your colleagues in the anti-corruption space have been asking is that a threat of prosecution is not in a vacuum. You would only have questions to answer if you have done something worth asking questions about. How did this strike you, hearing Avenyomakin say that some minority MPs who criticize government are being threatened with prosecution?
No, he says some. Can he give us the names? On what occasions? Because surely, for some of us in civil society, if we find that government is unnecessarily, unduly, unfairly criticizing people or holding them, obviously we'll speak up. But the question is this: what is it that these MPs have done that they are afraid of anything or that they are being criticized for? There cannot be, smoke without fire. What exactly is it? I can't imagine that anybody will just, without any cause, no basis, no legitimate, issue, just begin to critique or threaten. That cannot happen. There has to be a connection. So on what basis are these MPs being harassed or intimidated or threatened? Can he provide those facts? Can they provide those facts? Why are we seemingly using a very nebulous, generic, sweeping statement and thinking that nobody will pay attention to the details? Get serious. Our democracy, there's a lot to be done for the nation. This is a country with a lot of resources. We're expecting the political class to lead us forward. We're expecting to see, in every given 5 years to 10 years, substantive change. Not this bickering about witch hunting, and when there are issues, you don't provide contrary facts or other facts, and then you just expect us to follow you.
Dr. Pagre, you have also used that expression of a narrative of Chamahun to being a political prisoner. You heard Adam Senanu there. What's the contrary fact? The courts have decided you are going to appeal. It says don't resort to this nebulous, generic expression of political prisoners when the jury is out there on the matters that you're talking about.
Alfred, you are aware that we live in a society, and the South Africans have a proverb that says that Ubuntu, Ubuntu, Ugabantu, which means that you are who you are because of other people. We don't live in isolation of that. We cannot, on any day, think that Chamahun, to me, hasn't got a political influence. He's a politician. And so you cannot detach that from what is happening. Okay? You cannot detach that. And it's important that as our leader and General Secretary has stated, that we as a New Patriotic Party consider this as political imprisonment. You cannot disassociate it, because Chamahun, to me, is a politician and he's a businessman. And so, of course, we are going through an appeal. Of course, that is going to be heard, and they will make a decision on all the charges and convictions that came. And of course, everyone is going to see to the bare facts of it. Alfred, I have read the judgment.
Yeah, but you only resort to that expression of political prisoner if there is no real fact and basis for his incarceration. And it is only just for the politics of things. That's what Adam Senanu is saying.
I have read the judgment more than once. Let me summarize it for everyone that is listening. You work at TV3 or Media General.
No, don't use me as an example. The most important thing is that, okay. I've read it as well. You are not a lawyer, probably. I don't think so.
But let me explain it in simple terms. Someone works at Media General, okay?
No, you can use any other company. You don't. What do you want to? What's the point? What do you want to drive
at? In a house. Let me use it. A tenant lives in a house. Okay, well that example will work for you, because I think that I'm beginning to see that you want me to use an Umodo story. So let me use an Umodo story. Okay, my brother Alfred. A tenant lives in a house. When the tenant went to the landlord, the tenant said, I want to live in your house. Now, this tenant rents the house, and rather than using it for residential accommodation, he's beginning to use it for something contrary to what the landlord is aware. Okay? The person goes to court, and the person pleads guilty, which is this tenant, and is set free. And now the landlord who owns the house has been sent to jail. That's clearly what it is. It's called circumstantial. Okay? It's called circumstantial, which is why we are making an appeal. Give us time.
When will the appeal be filed?
By next week, the appeal will be filed.
By next week?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Before the legal break.
Right. We will definitely wait for that, Doctor. And I thank you for talking to us this evening. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity, Alfred.
Dr. Pagre Bachidankwa is aide to Dr. Mamudu. Aide to Chairman Wontumi. Bernard Entry-Boesiako is the spokesperson for Bernard Entry-Boesiako for National Chair Campaign Team. As we do know now, today is day 5 of Chairman Wontumi being in Swan Prison. And they are preparing an appeal, which they say by next week they will file. We'll wait for that. But this is Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, 23 minutes after 5. Your thoughts and views, comments are welcome. Go on our Facebook page at 3FM 927, at 3FM 927. Also on YouTube at 3FM 927. Post your comments there. If you go there right now, we're showing you videos of some of the court appearances of Bernard Entry-Boesiako, Chairman Wontumi, on our Facebook page at 3FM 927. Also on YouTube at 3FM 92.7. But the Flood Mitigation Task Force has begun a phased exercise to dredge drains, desilt waterways, demolish illegal structures obstructing water channels across parts of Accra. The operation, led by Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations Stan Dogbe and Works and Housing and Water Resources Minister Kenneth J, started at New England. Yeah, if you didn't know, there's a place called New England in Ghana. It's Tessa Dam in East Legon and then Oyarifa. The Tessa Dam, the task force demolished structures built along the banks of the reservoir. Years of encroachment is what we've seen going on now. Illegal construction and indiscriminate waste dumping reduced the dam's capacity to hold floodwaters, and residents were given time to remove their belongings before the demolitions began, after which dredging works commenced to restore the dam's storage capacity and improve water flow. Flood Mitigation Task Force Coordinator Brigadier General Foster Okanyaboa said illegal developments had narrowed natural waterways, increasing the risk of flooding in surrounding communities, and also added that buffer zones will be created to prevent future encroachments. Meanwhile, Works and Housing Minister Kenneth J said desilting of drains will become a year-round exercise under a directive from President Mahama to help prevent a recurrence of the floods. Now, we can now listen to Brigadier General Foster Okanyaboa, Coordinator Flood Mitigation Task Force. And I wanted to go on our Facebook page at 3FM 927. We're showing you videos of the demolition exercise along that Tessa Dam in East Legon. Quite telling indeed. I'll go on our Facebook page right now at 3FM 927. You see the videos and the pictures of this demolition exercise. This is what the Brigadier General Foster Okanyaboa had to say on what is happening right now regarding the demolitions.
So, if you remember, after the floods, the president gave a directive that we should take some measures to mitigate future floods. So, as a result, we did some reconnaissance and identified areas where people had built in waterways. And this is one such area. This is the Tessa Dam area. So, we are demolishing structures in this dam area to open up the place for some dredging works to be carried out. And then from here, we'll move to other places where such an action needs to be taken.
Okay. So how is the encroachment contributing to flooding in this area and then a little bit down? Which areas were affected as a result of the encroachment within this area?
Okay, so the problem is that because people have filled this place, the channel is narrow. So the water is not able to get enough space to maneuver to. Well, there's a holding area downstream where water is supposed to be collected, but because they filled that whole place, and the place is not able to take up water. So once the place is blocked, the water pushes upwards and the place gets flooded.
Okay.
So that's the Brigadier General Foster Okanyeboa, Coordinator of Flood Mitigation Task Force. Kenneth Gilbert Ajay is the Minister for Works, Housing and Water Resources. He also spoke at the demolition site, where if you go on our Facebook page at 3FM927, we're showing you the demolition exercise that took place not too long ago at the Tessa Dam area in Legon.
Dam right here, that's the Tessa Dam. And we need to have even a buffer beside the dam. But now what our people are doing is, even the dam site, they are trying to fill the side of it to reduce the size of the dam. And which is part of the reason why when it rains, our place gets flooded, because the water doesn't get a clear route to pass. So now what we're doing is, when we clear this side, but this side where we are standing now is supposed to be part of the dam, and it's being filled by people and being sold out as land to people to come and build. So now with this demolition, then now we will dredge the whole place to open up the dam well, so that when it rains, the water will get a place to settle. And that will help resolve these floods that we have within this East Legon enclave.
We understand this will be replicated in other areas as well.
Yes, we're from here. Yesterday we started from opposite around Chadu.
Yeah.
So we did some few demolitions there. We went to behind Adenta to also do some demolitions there. And then some few places too within East Legon too. Yesterday we did some demolitions. And we will be moving to other areas.
How hopeful are
So that's the Minister in charge of Water Resources, Kenneth Gilbert Ajay there. And let's have a quick conversation on what we are seeing right now on our Facebook page at 3FM927. This demolition exercise also on YouTube at 3FM927. And the municipal chief executive for the Medina area, that's a municipal, that's Faila Fuseni, is joining us on the telephone for a quick one on this. Faila, good evening. Hello, Mr. Fuseni, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for agreeing to talk to us here on Hot Edition. First of all, we're seeing the demolition that took place earlier today around the Tessa Dam in East Legon. Now, is this going to be a one-day exercise? Are you done there? Are you going to continue in the coming days from what we are saying now?
Thank you very much. Yes, my brother, and a good evening to your listeners. Yes, of course, we are going to continue. In fact, today we are still on site, but we had a challenge with the operators. You know, the military, or the 48th Engineer Regiment, they are the ones helping us to penetrate through where it's more difficult for the assembly as a body to be able to do. So we had a little challenge with some of the operators. Therefore, we did a little of the dredging, and then we wait them till tomorrow morning. But I can assure you, we'll clear every mess or every obstacle on the waterway or the water banks.
So after the demolition, which has started today, let's understand what happened today. How many buildings did you raise down, and the people who are living there, where exactly are they right now from what you do know?
Currently, or today, we were at the New York City. That's the name of the area, New York City.
New York City.
Oyarifa. Yes, in Oyarifa. We have New York City 1.
And there's New England 2.
Yes. So we went there, and then we were able to identify, in fact, the most worrying situation I've ever seen in my life. People knowing very well that this place is in a waterway, they were able to start doing what we call the refilling in the dry season, and then they will go away and leave it when it's during the rainy season, then they will come back again. So today we identify almost 5 houses more to be pulled down by tomorrow. So we'll continue from tomorrow.
And this in New York City, in Oyarifa.
New York City in Oyarifa.
What about
in fact, there are some other senior officials who also came on board and tried to approach us, show their concerns and their grievances with what. But I told them, my brothers, we need to collaborate, support each other in terms of this work. This work is neither the central administration, the assembly, or you as indigents of the area. It is about collaboration. Because you may think you are going to lose a certain structure or a certain building. But also bear in mind, when problems happen, it is not about you as individual. It goes, viral to the top there by initiating or calling the aspect of the government or the president himself.
See this buildings. You say you've earmarked 5 more to be demolished.
Yeah.
By from tomorrow onwards. But today, how many buildings did you demolish in New York City in Oyarifa?
Today we did the uncompleted one yesterday. We continue without 2 today. So, in fact, it is the same thing that we started from yesterday and we continue today. So what we are going to do more is what I just explained to you.
Okay, so what about New England? Did you demolish any buildings there?
New England, I don't think it's in Lanquantana, Medina.
But where is
Unless
that?
maybe I stand for correction.
Okay.
New England doesn't fall within Lanquantana, Medina municipality.
Okay. Now, so now that you've demolished, I see the debris by the roadside, at least with the Tessa Dam area. We see some of the debris by the roadside. There's New York City, where you went to demolish buildings. What happens next? What happens to the debris, the buildings you've demolished?
Yes, after that, we are collecting all the debris. The debris that is left over there is not going to be there till tomorrow morning. As soon as the operators come on site, because the same operators are the ones going through the drain to be dredging the main drain. And they are the same people, or they are the same operators doing the demolition. And they are the same operators going to even excavate or scoop the debris to the truck. It is the reason why we have a challenge today. But tomorrow we are continuing on that angle, and then to be able to get everything down to ground zero.
See, thank you. And kindly hold on a bit for me. Engineer Abdullahi Mahama is a road and building consultant. In fact, he's been an advocate for some of the things you are doing now for a very, very long time. Engineer, good evening. Engineer, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening.
Now, you've been listening to the Medina MC there, detailing what they've done within the Lanquantana area. Demolitions in New York City, around Oyarifa. These are some of the things you've been talking about for years, as far as I do know, and what we've been talking about. Beyond the demolition, what else has to be done? Because certainly it's not enough, is it?
Yes, I'll say good evening to your cherished listeners. I am pleased to have heard the Medina Quantana MC, together with the engineers who have seen them working dotted around this area. I think they join the boundary between the Quantana is with the east. And they have their boundaries, and some of them are separated by some of the streams and river bodies. So there's a lacuna that has been created in terms of jurisdiction. And I'm sure that this must be taken care of in their, if we want to have a holistic approach towards getting these areas properly demolished with the buildings that are encroaching in this area. I think I've seen even the cleaning that we did last week by the Mitigation. A lot of the debris are still dotted along the roadsides, which are yet to be collected. And when we come to the demolition of such houses, it's not only the buildings that are supposed to be demolished and then the debris be collected. The foundations that are sitting in the rivers, the streams, that have been made possible as a result of people bringing the broken stones and debris, rocks from the escarpment to come and fill those areas, must be surcharged. So if government want to take up the issue and then deal with it drastically, we have to make sure that the buildings are removed and then the debris that have been used to fill the lakes and streams are removed so that we can get what we call the proper receptors. If we don't get the collectors, what we have done, even though it's going to ease some flow of water not to inundate the communities, we may have to do the latter by removing all the debris that have been used to make it possible for people to put their foundation on the road on the streams. And when we are done, what I proposed the last time was when I was with you in your station. I said something that now they have to do what we call the GPS locations that are surveyors are moved to plot the channels, the boundaries, the peripheries of the rivers, and then give it to the assemblies. And so this must be an order from the local government authority or the local government ministry. Once this document becomes official to the local assemblies, under no circumstance would any engineer overlook any permit request that will be brought onto their table without first and foremost looking at the area with the same geofencing details to make sure that those people do not come back again and fall in the same location that buildings have been demolished. It shouldn't just say because of maybe 10 years after, we should be coming back to the same situation and then get ourselves to work out again to get these buildings demolished. I remember the prof who spoke on your program the last time was given, the extent to which within 20 years, some of the river bodies, which are about 207 meters wide, have become 10 meters. And so if these geofencings are done with the survey details given to the local assemblies, becomes a prerequisite for issuance of permit, I'm sure we're making some headway in the coming years.
Right. I do appreciate your analysis of this and how the coming day should look like. Thank you so much for joining us, Engineer Mahama.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. He is a building and road contractor, Engineer Mahama, joining us, Abdullahi Mahama, joining us with his thoughts in there. But let's go straight into matters of the media budget review, and rightly so. Yesterday, the Mahama administration says Ghana's economy has made significant progress 19 months after taking office, describing a turnaround from what it calls the economic crisis inherited in January 2025. Presenting the 2026 media budget review in Parliament, Finance Minister Dr. Kasiela Tuforsen said government has moved beyond emergency stabilization and is laying the foundation for sustained economic growth. According to the minister, inflation has declined, the city has remained relatively stable, international reserves have improved, fiscal targets have been exceeded, and Ghana's economy has surpassed $100 billion mark. He said these and the achievements reflect prudent economic management and growing investor confidence. Let's take a listen to the finance minister presenting the media budget review yesterday.
This administration assumed office. When this administration assumed office, it moved swiftly and decisively to stabilize the economy and begin the work of national reconstruction. It was immediately clear that the old model of managing the economy had failed, and Ghana did not need incremental adjustment, but it needed structural reforms. We therefore took difficult but necessary decisions which were neither politically convenient nor painless. These decisions demanded our collective sacrifice, Mr. Speaker, but they were necessary to restore stability and rebuild confidence. Right Honorable Speaker, the progress Ghana is recording today did not happen by chance. Some have suggested that our recent macroeconomic gains are simply the product of good fortune. Others have attributed the recovery solely to the debt restructuring program or the IMF program inherited in 2025. But Mr. Speaker, I firmly disagree. Our recovery is as a result of superior economic management. Mr. Speaker, for emphasis, I firmly disagree. Ghana's recovery is as a result of superior economic management. Debt restructuring may create fiscal space, but it does not create fiscal discipline. Right Honorable Speaker, an IMF program may provide a framework, but it cannot substitute for sound policy, disciplined implementation, and political will. Sustainable economic recovery is built on good policy choices, competent economic management, and disciplined execution.
As the finance minister, meanwhile, the minority in parliament has rejected the government assessment of the economy. Ranking on Parliament's Finance Committee and Member of Parliament for the Karaga constituency, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, argued that the government's claims do not reflect the realities facing Ghanaians. His immediate past finance minister.
If you remember, after the floods, the president gave a directive that we should take some measures to mitigate.
Can best be described as talk more, do little government. Yeah. Because the review has confirmed our description of the original budget, the 2026 budget, as having only bones, no meat. And for that matter, can best be described as Koscielny budget. The minister tried his best to do what he does best, propaganda. But his own data gave him out. His own data showed that the honeymoon is over. They are now faced with the reality because this budget is empty. And because it has no meat and they have no story, again, the minister resorted to blame game. They've been doing this blame game from the time they assumed office in 2025. And after 18 months in government, they are still doing blame game.
That's the former finance minister, Mohammed Amin Adam there. Let's go straight to Parliament. Our parliamentary affairs correspondent, Christian Yale, who's in Parliament as we speak. We understand the budget is still a matter of conversation on the floor of Parliament. And Christian, what have the MPs been saying?
Alfred, so unlike the initial agreement by the business committee that after the minister presented it yesterday, they were to begin commentary on the same today, there's been a change of plan. And so the commentary on the mid-year budget review did not start today. However, it is expected that on Tuesday next week, it will begin. But today, after the business statement was presented by Mahama, the majority leader, there was an agreement that the MPs would adjourn sitting today to Tuesday. In fact, last week, the communication was that they would sit tomorrow to continue with the commentary on the budget. That was because ordinarily they were going to go on recess next week, Tuesday. So they wanted to start the commentary today. It will continue tomorrow, Monday, and then Tuesday the two leaders would conclude. Then they would proceed to go on recess. That didn't happen. So they are not sitting tomorrow. They are not sitting on Monday. So after that, I mean, a motion was moved for the House to be adjourned. Then the first Deputy Minority Whip, Habib Idris, who should have ordinarily seconded the motion before the Speaker could put the question for a voice vote on it, said that the majority MPs were not inspired by their own minister's budget review. So they did not come to the chamber in their numbers to begin the commentary on the statement. And he even went ahead to say that unlike what Dr. Atiforson has done previously, this time around, he did not visit various markets to go to get a direct, feedback from the market women. And he, Habib Idris, is of the view that because the market women are angry, he mentions the tomato farmers, traders as well as onion traders. If the minister had gone, they probably would have attacked the minister. In fact, after he had said that, the majority leader did not take it lightly at all. So he responded, Mahama Yarga responded, and described the words of Habib Idris as irresponsible, reprehensible, and said his conduct lately are getting out of hand. After we can take a listen to what Habib Idris said and then the response the majority leader, Mahama, gave after that.
This morning, I was getting reports from the market. You know, normally he go to the market before coming to Parliament. The tomato sellers were very angry, waiting for him to come to the market, and he couldn't turn. The onion sellers were equally waiting for the finance minister to come to the market. He couldn't go. Now he's moving from TV station to TV stations. We are ready on Tuesday to be able to unlock a lot of misinformation that contained in the minister's statement. And the minister is very lucky that he didn't go to the market before coming to this chamber. Probably he would have been attacked by the market women because they are very angry.
How can you stand in this chamber and say that market women are planning to attack the Minister of Finance? That's what you've said. That's what you've said. You have just said that. You have said that if the minister had gone to the market this morning, the women would have attacked him. Very irresponsible of you as a member of Parliament. Very irresponsible. You must withdraw that and apologize. You must withdraw that. You must withdraw that and apologize. Please. Please, this is getting out of hands. This is irresponsible behavior.
The leader of the House was actually not paying attention when I was speaking. And
Well, so that's the banter that happened in Parliament, but what we just played for you as listeners as well, the verdict is out there on whether or not the Member of Parliament said what he said he did not say. Two pre-tertiary teacher unions are also been expressing their views about the media budget review. They say they are disappointed that the media budget failed to make provisions for the payment of their 20% deprived area allowance. According to the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, and the Pre-Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana, PRETAG, the budget once again failed to address the worsening conditions and plight of teachers. I want to take a listen to them, and we'll get into some analysis.
November budget, that's the main budget, which was read. It was stated that government was going to fulfill its promises for teacher welfare. And they mentioned three major things. Teacher, Adabre, that they were going to build 100 homes or accommodation for teachers. And then secondly, they were going to sit down with stakeholders and introduce the 20% deprived area allowance. And fourthly, they will build basic school with accommodation for staff. None of this was mentioned in the new revised budget.
The minister is always trumpeting it. We will pay them allowances, those in the rural areas. Government has now, we are the first government to implement the new scheme of service. And so we are going to move people from deputy director to here. But there's no financial provision for that one. But the minister is always trumpeting. That is, you see, you can't say something for everybody to hear so that people will posture and think that teachers are well taken care of. But
that's the presidents of NAGRAT and PRETAG there. But let's get a bit more into this. Wisdom Safo is from our research desk here at 3FM 92.7. Wisdom, this is a media budget review, but tell us what the budget did not capture.
So, Alfred, it's very natural for PRETAG and NAGRAT to be voicing their concern about some missing promises that were made in the 2026 budget, but the review omitted them. So I'm here to give the facts as to, I went through the document, I read it, and I realized that some of the things that were mentioned or said in the main budget for 2026 were not given update of in the review. So the first one I would like to talk about here is hospital infrastructure. And in the main budget, it's promised that there'll be 3 new regional hospitals backed by 600 million Ghana cedis, and district hospitals at Bole and Shama, and the completion of 10 Agenda 111 hospitals backed by 100 million Ghana cedis. Alfred, I would like to emphasize on Agenda 111 because when Akando went in front of the Assurance Committee in Parliament, he mentioned that 4.8 billion Ghana cedi had been invested in Agenda 111, and that as he spoke at that time, there were no operationalization of these hospitals. And I went back to the PRMA Act because that's where Agenda 111 was initially getting its funding from, the oil revenue, from the APFA, the annual budget funding amount. There was about 2.81 billion Ghana cedis were taken from our petroleum revenue to fund Agenda 111. But when this government came, they amended the Petroleum Revenue Management Act and diverted 95% of that proceed into Big Push. So now, as I speak to you, there is no dedicated funding for Agenda 111. Last year, President Mahama met with the clergy and said that if these faith-based organizations will come on board so that they can even operationalize some of these hospitals, he will come on board and he's willing to give in. So there were no updates given on Agenda 111 as well. Upgrades of 7 hospitals for maternal and child health care backed by 79 million cedis, no updates were given. Continuous work on large general hospital, Efiam Kwanta Hospital, the Konfanot Maternal Block, and the Sewa Regional Hospital as well. So they didn't give update on this. That's for the health or hospital infrastructure. Then we move on to the basic education infrastructure and material. So the main budget allocated 2 billion Ghana cedis for 200 GHS blocks, 200 primary schools, 200 kindergartens, 400 teachers' bungalows, and 400 places of convenience. It also allocated 3 billion Ghana cedis for textbook, more than 2 million decks, 200 buses, and 200 pickups, and the completion of 30 abandoned e-blocks. Also, a science and technology university at Damango and a modern market at Aflao. So all these were mentioned in the main budget, but the review did not touch on any of these. It mentioned, though, that there were some get fund payments, but it did not narrow down and gave us a timeline as to how much has been invested, the construction ongoing, what is the state of completion of these infrastructures and all. The last thing I would like to talk about and emphasize, which were omitted in the budget, would be the fire service retooling. So the main budget promised 100 fire tenders, assorted equipment, and high-rise firefighting equipment, and it's later allocated 150 million Ghana cedis for fire tenders and equipment. The review reports that number of fires, rescues, inspections, and all that, it was mentioned in the review, but there were no updates given on these retools, like the fire tenders and the high-rise fire equipment as well. Right. So these were the things. There are a lot of them, the aviation infrastructure as well, fisheries infrastructure and equipment, land administration, a lot of them. But as we go on, subsequently, we will review or we will bring all these to the general public.
Right on. Thank you. Wisdom Safo is with our research team, and this is a continuous exercise. It's just the first phase of the post-media budget review conversation we're going to be having. But Joe Jackson is CEO of Deleuze Finance, a financial analyst. Has been sharing his thoughts about the media budget review.
Now, you see, this government is betting big on revenue, and that's okay. But there are 2 things we should look at carefully. One is that there are no new taxes, which is a good thing. But the real difficulty is that the tax net has not really been grown. So this bet on revenue is going to come from the same old people who pay the tax, mainly in the formal sector and some in the informal sector. So really, the issue to do with the bet on larger revenue is a bet on better enforcement. And the real...
That's Joe Jackson, financial analyst there. This is Hot Edition. We're live as well on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. We're back shortly after this quick break. Stay with us.
I'm not afraid to be different.
107.7 3FM.
Welcome back to a hot edition on 3FM 92.7 as tension is mounting at the Jesu Municipal Assembly as assembly members push to pass a vote of no confidence in the municipal chief executive Jerry Asante. Proceedings have, however, been delayed amid a heavy security presence at the assembly, with the doors of the assembly firmly locked, preventing members from meeting. The assembly members accused the MCE of poor administration, including alleged failure to enforce a court order to demolish a building said to have encroached on a road at Akwakakrom. Now, they also allege the diversion of assembly funds. This is what they had to say to my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar, who's been interacting with them earlier today.
Emergency meeting. The emergency meeting, I see it. Said to say, said the meeting day, said the meeting day. They buy a baby. You will say, you're done. I also will be at two. You may be a sick. Said the emergency meeting. Not that day, never hire a meeting. Never meeting, never took me. Yentino may be a sick. Come, they say, 10 I also raise time. You buy and you're lucky gate, you know. You're lucky gate, you know. And then, you're lucky gate, you know. You're called a letter, so you're called for activity. Your friend of one set of MC, so you buy a who will be our where's for you. Who will be our thing. PM who has a CL, I also in the other meeting. You buy a team, appointed one of members, 28 in Nayaba. If you're two gates, the day to the other than possible. It's yes, say, beer, MC, coordinating the letter, the other will be a property and car. You're meeting. Maybe a problem for my and this idea and one of the members, you know, yeah, can say, oh, somebody house will be
and this was happening at the Jesu Municipal Assembly as assembly members have met to pass a vote of no confidence in the municipal chief executive. They accuse him of a number of things which he has also come out to deny. Before we go, the Driver Vehicle License Authority, DVLA, says its new or newly introduced vehicle inspection technology has led to the detection and seizure of more than 130 vehicles suspected to have been cloned or linked to duty evasion. The Chief Executive Officer of the DVLA, Julius Nikwe, said the move forms part of the authority's broader digital service transformation agenda aimed at improving vehicle registration and processes and tackling fraudulent activities.
Security features, and then we have something we call the one-time screw on. The era where somebody can just get up, open, take a screw to remove his number plate, it will be a thing of the past. The mere fact that you attempt to anti-clockwise move the screw, it sends us a signal that this car this year somewhere, this location, the number plate is being tampered with. So the era of stolen cars will be a thing of the past.
For more tourists. So that's the Chief Executive Officer of the Driver Vehicle License Authority, DVLA, Julius Nikwe, there. Says one of the key interventions is the introduction of cloning detection machines, which enable the authority to verify the authenticity of vehicle chassis numbers and trace the history of vehicles before registration. You can find more of this on 3news.com and join the Ghana Tonight team at 10 p.m. for some more analysis on the issues. Also tomorrow morning, make a date with me and the rest of the team at 7 a.m. for The Key Point, which is going to be live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3. I am Alfred Akonse. Have a great evening.